Today we're having a look at the 2024 NTL Men's Open Grand Final.
Oh, how about that? It's even better.
Count of the man, count of the hour.
That is sensational.
Okay, NTL Men's Open. Hornets with the ball versus the Swans. So Hornets running on our screen, right to left with the ball. Looks like a fake splitter. So we'll have a look at this. So we're going to have a look at whatever's on this video. So a splitter we've covered in a video before. So we have a middle ruck, and it kind of looks like a quickie. Let's move the mic. This person's dumping the ball, and he's going to split short side. So he's going to take, ideally, that toucher with him as he pulls corner, whereas the link is going to cut through the middle of the ruck, sort of undetected, so that he's kind of like in the shadows a bit and goes unseen. But in this case, the dummy half, now this is a grand final, so no doubt these two teams would have played against each other. If they didn't, there would have been a lot of studying because they're big heavy hitters in this competition. So the dummy half there has decided to dummy the splitter in hopes that this saving middle would be nice and tight to cover this gap. Okay, and because he's moving in to cover that gap, he's just going to take him against the grain. And you can see he starts his run this way, and this guy has to do the pivot. Okay, so it can catch teams off guard pretty easily. The downside is you are dummy half running the ball. So he gets rid of it pretty quickly, and it's probably only touch 4 coming, so it's probably not a bad idea. If he keeps running into the in goal, yeah, you might score a try, but you run the risk of losing the ball, so they can keep playing. Or was it the last? Oh, they drop it. But yeah, so it's a bit of a dummy splitter. So Swans with the ball. It was a very rainy grand final, this one. Bit of a remix play. It's funny, like I take some time to make a bunch of these videos at once, and I actually pulled some clips for this exact play. Not from this game. I could have used this one, but there'll be a video just fully breaking down this play coming out around the same time. But you can see here again, not ideally to do in the first part of the game. We've got middles matching up against each other, and it just looks like a middle scoot. Okay, so you can see the one middle dropping back, the other one pressing up to make the touch. It looks like he's just going to drive in. He's going to make the touch and then pull corner. Now this variation, he doesn't dump the ball, he just flicks the ball out the back before he can make the touch. Now, an ideal situation here to do this play is if this toucher here, not necessarily this player, but if you are seeing a middle trying to lend a lot of weight into the touch and be very aggressive with making this touch, trying to dominate, you can use that weight against them and run this little play. But it's a blind pass. Now, take a look at the hands. We just haven't covered. Take a look at the hands. They're always in view of this player here. So at this time, like the person wrapping around, he cannot see the ball. So it takes a lot of practice just by trusting your player and knowing where they are. But while this player can see the ball, he thinks it's a dump. He doesn't see a pass coming. All right. So you dive in like you're making the dump, flick it out, and you should be catching that ball on the run. If you do catch it on the run, it's very hard to defend. That was the first try of the game. So I'm just rucking on the field. Don't know whether there was a bit of miscommunication. It's funny, they were cutting to the sideline report. I don't know if it's a miscommunication by the Hornets here, but you can see a bunch of them just here. So Swans are coming on the latch on the field, and a bunch of them have just been caught up. I don't know whether they were trying their midfield press or whatever, but the far middle has came in to cut off that latch dump. And it's leaving 1-2 players with, I don't know, however much space that is, like between there and there. That's a lot of space on the field to cover with all these players coming around plus the winger already there. So I don't know what the plan was there, and you can see this player's coming out of the touch and he's a little bit relaxed. They're probably just not expecting something like this. They're getting caught a bit tight. Now, this player here probably thinks the winger's going to jam in and make the touch so he can chase the winger. I'm not quite sure. We do have a video about the importance of communication. Now, I don't know what's happening here. We can't hear what the Hornets are doing in defence. But whether or not this link thinks the winger's going to make the touch at the end and he backs off a bit, and the winger thinks that the link's making a touch so he's holding his space, we don't really know. But Swans, they just came onto the field and they ran to the space and they ran hard. So that's not a real technical masterpiece. That's just running hard with the ball. And on a rainy day, that's what you need to do. A point's a point, I guess. So this next try, I think the Hornets' next try is very difficult to see because they show a replay. Oh, maybe another one. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So we're looking down here. So it's a splitter play with a second phase. All right, so they will show a replay of that. I won't do the squiggles on that little screen in the corner. But they run that splitter play like they dummied off the tap off. But this time they do run a phase play off it. So I do have a video on second phase, and I've got video on a splitter. It's a splitter versus the ML. So we've got the middles in the ruck, link cutting up the middle. Pulls short side, hopefully get this guy away, leaving a hole in the middle for the link to run. Very important there that this dummy half then gets away from that ruck, because you don't want this person here to step forward and be able to touch them both at the same time. So it's make sure you keep your distance, which they do. A lot of distance now, which is perfect. Ideally now you hit this short hole. There's the short ball, but the link defender comes in to shut down, which is good defense. And he kind of grabs him, but he gets the ball played. So now this player's offside, and we have 2 attackers for 1 defender out wide. So now it's just a case of picking your mark. And that's a second phase. Now you really want to only make sure that you do a second phase when the defense is shut in. Otherwise it's just man on. Another splitter play, and they tack short side. So this is just good variation from the Hornets. While they've run the same play 3 times, they've picked 3 different options. So both other times, the first time the dummy half just took off this way. The second time, link ran through, short ball, second phase, and both went back to the open side. So now this player running at link is thinking, okay, we've just hit 2 on the open side. I reckon this guy here making the touch is not going to be pulling a very hard corner. He's not going to be he's not going to be racing to get back to the line on that side. So I think that's where they're vulnerable. And I'm just going to take them on there. And I just get low and I just beat them to the line. So that's all that is. That's just conditioning the defense. Like people say, diving at the line is very important to do at the start, and conditioning the defense by diving at the line to then go wide. But conditioning the defense is just doing one thing and then doing another thing when they're conditioned to defend the way that you've done the first couple of times. It doesn't have to be diving at the line straight up. There's another one here, just running short side. That's nice. So this, we don't really get much of a view of how this dump occurs. We just know it's a middle. Okay, now, if you've sucked one middle all the way over across, because the middle of the field's probably here. If you've sucked him all the way over to the middle and you try to take him short, snap back open and play a 4-on-3, the 4-on-3 channel is actually quite tight. Your open side is actually the same size as your short side. So ideally you want to just take off and use that space, because there's no way these guys are going to come in at all. They're going to back off. So if you can pick up and you've got him for foot speed, then I would just take off short side. When you're picking up middle and you've dragged that one middle across so far, just pick up and run. And then it's just an idea of finding a player. I do have a video about the short side cut you can watch, but this player here, he ends up going into the in goal and then backing off back to the try line. You can still be there to score a try, which is just smart. Very old school, tucking his shirt in as well when he plays a game. Swans have just run a splitter with double pump, and we have a channel defender. So let's go. We'll just have a look at this defender. So this is a splitter here. It's coming up the middle. We've just done that 3 times. But okay, we've got a tight middle here is rushing up. Now he rushes up pretty quick to just probably cut the time down and put this guy under a bit of pressure on which decision he's got to make. The link's a little bit deep at the moment, but he'll take a couple of steps forward and get in this lane here to try and take off a pass, which is what he does. You can see he's now positioned himself exactly between the 2 Swans players. And of course, yes, you just take off here, but the awareness here, you watch what he does. The awareness here that he's going to get caught, pumps the brakes, plays the ball straight away. And it's kind of like a second phase from an intercept. If you can get someone backing up, not necessarily to pass on the ball, do a quick play the ball. All right, you've got 1, 2, 3. Probably a winger coming out there. And yeah, you're pretty much going to score. If you can get a quick play the ball off an intercept like that, especially in the middle of the field, you're going to score. And they do score. But it's really good defense, really good channel defense. A really big slap on the ground from the try scorer. Little rooster, quick release. And a step in. So we're looking at a rooster quick release here. So we've dumped on the middle. He splits short side and feint underneath, running a tight line at this player as well to try and beat that player. However, the Hornets have probably noticed that this back middle is super tight, which means as you're running around, you accelerate out this way and get the ball straight back. So while you're accelerating back to the open side, this player here is pressing into the middle of the field the other way. So you're kind of going against the grain, catching him wrong-footed, and then it's just a game of speed. So he's just taking off now, and this ball carrier is already at speed. So that's your difference. Now, this player here has reacted. He's going to come up and fly in. However, the winger doesn't fly in with him, which means that just a little pass on is going to work. Nice. I will point out that this number 8 here in the defense, I think he's come from the middle of the field. So he's the middle that they've originally beaten. And he's working his backside off to cover that defense, basically if his winger or whoever gets stepped on the inside. Sorry, no, not the winger gets stepped on the inside. He's working to cover those passes because they're under pressure. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit. Because the Hornets' passes are under pressure, because they're jamming in, they're probably not going to be hitting him bang on the chest or at speed. So you've probably got a little bit of a chance to make your way there, but you just get stepped on the inside. And the rainy conditions probably didn't help that. But it's really good from the Swans. Good desperation defense as well. To come from the middle of the field. So Swans with the ball. Over the top. Same again. It's just a bit of an awkward 4-on-3, this one. So we go down for our link. Link's going to take off, beat this player here, and usually you play back to the open side, and we just chop holes. Goes over the top, and the winger does a good read. He chases, but again, when they ran out for this game, it was pouring down rain, so it's probably slippery conditions, like you saw on the last try. And he just steps on the inside. Probably could have had a little bit better defense from the link, running across here as well. You can't be too critical. It's a nice ball with a nice back pass. Sweeper. This is cool. This is so hard to do. This is just a sweeper taking on this defender that's just made the touch, stepping back, and he chooses the short option. Swans all read that and cover well. There's the short. These guys shut down, and it's just tip-on after tip-on. Back-to-back tip-ons. Like that. I don't know whether they practice that or it just comes natural from trying to do that at Social Touch, but that's really cool. Okay, I like the tip-ons. Also, just to make a note here, missing a tooth earlier in the tournament. He got a boot to the mouth and one of his teeth snapped off. So it's just a bit of a comical looking at him smile like that. We've got here another splitter. and again to the short side. And when you've got someone that can dive like that, like we've got a video out on the importance of diving, like he runs straight and then he just cuts away at the end, and that's all it takes to beat this bloke here, this number 6, just that little change of direction. And he's diving from, it's probably, his back foot's probably 2.5 meters away from the line. And he's just getting underneath. Oh, that's close. That's a close one. Yeah, that's a good dive. One-handed dive, getting nice and low. That looks like the game. Yeah, I think this is the game. Yep, that's the game. So Hornets win the NTL of 2024. A very good game. Swans came out on fire. They were up quick 2-0, but yeah, Hornets came home very strong and got the chocolates in the end. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll also have the Women's Open game out next. And yeah, really appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time.